Rain lashed against the weathered rooftops of Ashford. Thunder rattled the small town, each boom shaking the windows of its quaint, sleepy houses. Wind howled like a banshee, whipping branches against the walls and sending leaves in a frantic dance down deserted streets. Ashford, under the fury of the storm, felt abandoned. Lights were extinguished, the usual comforting glow replaced by an almost palpable fear. Everyone was tucked away, hiding from the wrath of nature raging outside, except for Daniel Carter. He was drawn to the storm, energized by the chaos that sent others running for cover. He gripped the steering wheel of his beat-up sedan, the headlights cutting through the deluge like a pair of tired eyes. He was headed for Blackwood Manor. Blackwood Manor stood on the edge of town, a forbidding silhouette against the raging storm. Locals whispered tales of the manor, their voices hushed, eyes darting nervously as if the very walls had ears. It was a place steeped in tragedy, a history as dark and turbulent as the storm raging around it. They said the manor was cursed, haunted by those who had met their end within its imposing walls. Many had tried to uncover the manor's secrets. None had succeeded. Some claimed to have encountered strange occurrences, unexplainable events that sent them running. Daniel had heard the stories. He'd seen the fear in the eyes of those who dared to utter the name Blackwood. But fear was a foreign language to Daniel. He thrived on the unknown, the thrill of the chase. Daniel Carter was an investigative journalist, a man driven by an insatiable hunger for the truth. He had built a career on digging up secrets, exposing the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. When he received the anonymous tip about Blackwood Manor, his gut instinct told him this was more than just a local ghost story. The tip was sparse, cryptic. Blackwood Manor holds its secrets tight. 3:07 a.m. The truth lies with Margaret. The words, sent from an untraceable number, were enough to set his pulse racing. He packed his bag, a single duffel containing his essentials, a notebook, a pen, a flashlight, and a worn-out Polaroid camera. He drove through the night, the storm his only companion, the tip about Blackwood Manor burning a hole in his mind. A chill settled over Daniel as he stepped across the threshold of Blackwood Manor. The front door creaked open as if disturbed after a long slumber. The air inside was heavy, thick with the smell of dust and decay. He shone his flashlight around, the beam cutting through the darkness, revealing a room frozen in time. Cobwebs draped the antique furniture like ghostly shrouds. Dust lay thick on the floor, undisturbed for what seemed like an eternity. He wandered from room to room, each one a perfectly preserved snapshot of a bygone era. The dining room table was set for a meal never eaten, the chairs pulled out as if waiting for their unseen occupants. There was a strange stillness in the air, an eerie silence that was broken only by the sound of his own footsteps echoing through the empty halls. It was as though the manor itself was holding its breath, watching his every move. As Daniel explored the manor, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being watched. He would catch a flicker of movement in the corner of his eye, a fleeting shadow that vanished as quickly as it appeared. The silence of the manor was deceptive. At times, he thought he heard whispers carried on the wind, voices murmuring just beyond the reach of his hearing. They were faint, indistinct, yet their presence was undeniable. In the library, he found a hidden compartment behind a bookshelf. Inside lay a small silver pocket watch, its hands frozen at the ominous time of 3:07. He slipped the watch into his pocket, a tangible piece of the puzzle he was determined to solve. The storm outside raged on, mirroring the turmoil building inside him. The deeper he ventured into the manor, the more he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The attic was a treasure trove of forgotten memories. Daniel carefully sifted through dusty trunks filled with old clothes, faded photographs, and stacks of letters bound by time. He found what he was looking for tucked away in a leather-bound journal. The elegant script was unmistakably feminine, the words penned in a hand that spoke of a bygone era. "My dearest Margaret," one letter began. The ink faded, but the words still legible. It was a love letter filled with longing and a desperate plea for forgiveness. The writer, a man named Edward, seemed to be consumed by guilt, haunted by a secret he couldn't bear to name. The letters painted a picture of a forbidden love, a secret affair shrouded in darkness. Margaret, it seemed, was the mistress of Blackwood Manor, trapped in a loveless marriage. The final entry in the journal sent chills down Daniel's spine. "He knows," Margaret had written, her usually elegant script reduced to a frantic scrawl. "He knows about Edward. I fear for our lives." Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. He could feel the weight of the past closing in on him, the secrets of Blackwood Manor revealing themselves one by one. He glanced at his watch. 3:06 a.m. Suddenly, the silence of the manor was shattered by the sound of the grandfather clock in the hall. The deep, resonant chimes echoed through the empty house, each clang a hammer blow to his already frayed nerves. 3 times the clock chimed, the sound reverberating through the stillness. And then, as the final chime faded, he heard a click. A section of the wall in front of him swung inward, revealing a narrow passageway hidden behind the grandfather clock. The secret passage. Daniel's hand trembled as he reached for his flashlight, his heart pounding against his ribs like a captive bird. He had uncovered the truth behind Margaret's desperate plea. But what awaited him at the end of this secret passage?